Well, well, well. If it isn't Robo-Corpse.
It's just us. What is this? Seems like a freeze frame of an episode.
That's to help you get in sync. That's just for Discord. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Anyway. Yeah, today we're joined by twitch.tv/robo, or is it robot on Twitch? I don't remember.
Robo Corpse. The long story, it was going to be Robot Corpse, but then an advertising bot took the name, and so I dropped the T, and I think it's actually better without the T.
Okay. Also,
Robo,
I'm afraid I have to inform you of something terrible. You don't actually have names, you are just et al.
Interesting.
For YouTube.
Why?
Because they said, hi, Ryan et al.
Overlay?
And I am Ryan. Therefore, you are et al.
Our names appear here, Lutra.
Well, Soma, to be fair to you, they said that like a second before you joined. Doesn't matter.
I know.
I had all the art done, Ryan. I had all the overlay, everything already, and I was about to, throw the switch, rebrand everything all at once, and then, like 7 days prior, some bot registered the name. I was so mad.
Okay.
I had to redo it all.
Soma, do you have anything to plug?
Well, I am going to be working on part 3 of my Halo campaign playthrough, so yeah.
Well,
I don't want to re-record the ending because it cut out.
Oh, you're
in my
recording. I
recording.
thought you were just okay.
No, I am recording it at the same time.
Okay.
That's
Why
how I
haven't
know
you
exactly how
finished it?
long I spent on it.
If
Because I was
anyone
away
else
from my
wants to join the
computer
voice
during
chat, there's a
Christmas.
link to Discord in the description, and you click on it, and you're...
Yes, and you get
did
to
it.
chat in person, well, rather online through VC, but you get my drift.
Yeah, don't come over. I don't want you to chat in person. Leave me alone.
I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna grab every one of your glasses out of the cabinet and lick the rim and put it back.
Oh.
I don't actually use glasses though.
Oh,
Well, I
okay.
do.
How
I
do you
wear
drink?
glasses, but I don't drink out of glasses.
Apparently Voyager is popular on Netflix.
Do you
Okay.
have one of those like rubber whales that goes on the end of the faucet, and you push
No,
the mouth of the whale closed?
I
and
use
it makes
mugs.
a little drinking fountain.
Mugs.
Okay, same difference.
I never that phrase doesn't mean
Mug?
anything.
A mug is just a glass with a handle.
It's ceramic. It's not glass.
Yes.
It could be glass. It could
Also,
be-
yeah,
a
by the way,
frosty
the first
a
episode
frosty
we're
mug
watching
you have
is...
a beer in is always glass.
We're watching Vanishing Point, which is season 2, episode 10 of Enterprise, and then we're watching season 2, episode 11, which is about the princess as cargo, and Trip needs to save the princess and take her to another castle. And then episode 12 is the Catwalk, and we all need to resist singing the Catwalk song, because whenever I hear it, that's all I can think.
The
Nice
catwalk.
show to Lost Cause of the North.
What are you talking about?
I think it's just called the
I don't
Catwalk,
understand.
though I think it's actually about, well,
you
it's
mean
like
I'm
from
Too
the
Sexy?
90s, so it's probably about a woman walking down a street rather than, a catwalk. I don't know. I just know it just keeps saying over and over on the catwalk.
I think
On
this
the
is the song you're
catwalk.
thinking of.
I'm
I'm gonna link it to.
The Catwalk.
Yes, that one, Soma. Thank you. I guess.
I just put it to a random tune that came into my head.
Yes, that is also the one, Robo. And God, I haven't heard that song in forever. Why is that in my head? I haven't heard that since I was a child. Why do I
No.
still know it?
Now it's an earworm. Now it's part of you forever.
It was Jesus. 30 seconds to start.
Yes,
Everyone queue
my
up to
child.
season 10 episode. Well, season 2, episode 10, not season 10.
Oh, we
God,
wish,
I could
we
love
wish.
10 seasons. Oh God, woke up to a tsunami warning this morning. That was
Ooh.
fun. Because there was a big
That's the cost
underwater.
of living in California.
There's a big underwater volcano that exploded next to the country
Yes.
of Tonga, which I'd never heard of before. But apparently, this country called Tonga. But for now, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Also, I just realized I wasn't on 0000. Good. So I'll fix that on my end.
Oh, we got.
Now I'm pressing play. Okay.
We're back in these caves again. I know. Just remember this scene very well. But we are also back in these caves.
But the tsunami warning, well, for one, it's not actually a threat to where I am. I'm far enough away that it was by tsunami they meant like 1 to 2 feet at most, and I don't think even that hit us. But what concerns me about it is the fact that they needed to say in the warning message, "Don't go to the coast to look at the tsunami." It concerns me that has to be said.
Well, it's America and it's humanity, so what do you expect?
Coupled with the fact that I watched Don't Look Up yesterday, which is all about people failing to take seriously a apocalyptic event, and humans just being stupid and getting themselves killed.
If something was happening, if there was a big asteroid,
there
coming,
is something happening. It's climate change. It's a very direct allegory.
Right. Well, if we would be fighting over who gets the contract to build the spacecraft to go push the asteroid out of the way, and it would never happen.
It's worse.
It would be lawsuits. There'd be people like, remember when Amazon or Blue Origin sued SpaceX because SpaceX got the moon contract or whatever?
Have you seen the movie? It was intensely frustrating to watch, which it was supposed to be. So it did its job very well.
I did not see it.
It hurt my soul because it was so accurate.
Yeah. People think the future is going to be like Star Trek. The future is going to be more like Warhammer 40,000.
No, the future is going to be like Star Trek, in the 21st century with World War III and the post-atomic horror. You remember that part?
And it's going to be The Expanse as well, unfortunately.
People ask sometimes, like on Reddit threads, like, "Oh,
if we'd get that far,
would you like to live in the Star Trek universe?" And it's like, well, that depends. Do I get to go to the 24th century or do I go there now?
Yeah.
Right. What point and where? Like, you get to go to the Star Trek universe, but you live on a Dominion planet, or you live on a Borg planet.
Wait, the shuttle can polarize whole planet? I thought that was just the Enterprise. Sorry, just Enterprise.
Yeah, it can apparently.
All right, so how many minutes until Spooky Ghost? What is it, like 15, 20?
Is this the one where they start hallucinating?
No, that was like episode 2. This is the one where Hoshi turns into a spooky ghost.
There's nothing to dying and then someone else taking your place.
So yes, the General Sergeant's first snacks, yes, that was interesting.
She experiences like a whole week while she's in the transporter stream.
Yeah. And she has to like tap out SOS by reaching into the conduit in Archer's quarters. Or maybe it's not. I think she's typing out Morse code Hoshi, but whatever.
Turns out to be a very, very bad decision from Hoshi.
Well, it didn't like damage anything. It just didn't work.
The whole episode is a hallucination. Yeah,
it's fine. It's an entertaining hallucination.
It's like, gotcha, audience. Haha. You were invested in this when you shouldn't have been.
You can still be invested in it. It's about Hoshi's emotional development and getting over her fears. Confronting her fears.
There's no emotional development for Hoshi.
What are you talking about? She starts the series being all afraid of everything and nauseous, and she ends it very confident. She develops.
So confident, she slithers out of her tank top in one episode.
She at the
Wait,
end
that already happened, right?
In season 3, she gets so confident she tries to kill herself.
Oh, really?
It's not it's kind of depressing, but it's not like an actual suicide. It's I have to prevent them from getting the codes out of me, so I'm going to jump off this ledge kind of suicide.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That's a good episode. I think it's 0 hour. Sounds right.
Hoshisato. Superhero.
So yes, at this point, they've transported up. None of this is real. Everything from now to the end of the episode is a hallucination.
I realized that I have this whole song memorized, and I didn't realize I have it memorized.
Why wouldn't you have it memorized? It's so good.
I just memorized it by accident. Just from hearing it so many times. Thanks to you.
You're welcome.
You
'Cause
violated
no one's
my
gonna
mind.
bend or break me, and I can reach any stars.
Show of faith. Show of faith. Faith of the heart.
I mean, I know I have a rule against singing, but I don't know if just saying deadpan "faith of the heart" is better.
That's why I did it deadpan.
I have faith. Faith to believe. I can do anything. So, guest star Keon Young. Wow. Is she, like, concerned that she got a new spot? Does she think it's a melanoma? I like that in... this hallucination kind of reveals how she views all her coworkers. Because this isn't how they're acting. This is how Hoshi thinks they act. And in Hoshi's mind, Archer is very understanding and thoughtful. Unfortunately, in this episode, Hoshi is not able to figure out where she is by determining where she is not.
She is not a missile.
Oh, yeah, I didn't update the copyright claim. I
Doesn't-
wonder if that guy left me alone.
Doesn't she invent like a whole person who was an accident in the transporter system? Like, invent a name, and afterwards she's like, "What happened to this guy?"
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
like, "Who?" It's like,
Yay. They get a ghost story. Does anyone remember his name?
unsettling feeling that you feel like you're not the same person who went into the transporter, but a copy.
Yes. It's very
Because
real.
you are, Hoshi, you don't exist anymore.
Yes, it's very well. You're not the same person. You should be feeling different.
Cyrus Ramsey.
And I mean, it is actually physically impossible for the transporter to return yourself to yourself anyway, because of the way the brain works. Even if you denied the fact that it changed, that it was a different, even if you denied that it was a different person coming out of the transporter, your brain chemistry is slightly altered.
Is it slightly altered? How do
Well,
you know that?
It's impossible to return it to the exact same format as it was when it entered.
You're
Impossible
overlooking
for
the
us.
Heisenberg compensator.
Yeah, there's a compensator, Soma.
As in, it's impossible to predict
it
what
works
your
very
brain
well.
would be.
The Heisenberg compensator is
Either return
literally
it to where it was before you entered the transporter, in which case you're a few milliseconds behind, or you're trying to predict where it would end up being, which is potentially
the Heisenberg
possible, I suppose.
compensator is the in-universe answer to that exact question, Soma. So like,
I suppose.
even though it wouldn't work like in real life, they have explained it in universe. So we have to accept that explanation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I suppose.
Now, here's my theory. I think Cyrus Ramsey is a real person. It's somebody that in the past, before joining Enterprise, Hoshi murdered and she suppressed the memory. And this is her guilt manifested. She knows there's someone named Cyrus Ramsey who's missing. Died a horrible death, and sometimes they can still hear the streams, Clarice. The streams? The screams. Can you still hear Mr. Ramsey? Hoshi? Okay, so her perception of Phlox is that he's kind of creepy and he just sneaks up on you. Well, we already kind of got the episode of, a crew member suppressing a murder previously in the 7th. But that was to
Yes.
Paul. And also, I don't buy it. Oh, yeah, my misunderstand, or what is the word? Mispronouncing. Well, that's ironic, isn't it? We're using the word mispronouncing. My mispronunciation of screams and streams makes sense in this context. After I die, maybe you'll still be able to hear the streams.
Yikes.
Depends if the YouTube service or still have the recordings.
Yes. 'Cause I'm not saving them to my hard drive, so I mean, if they get removed from YouTube, then that's it.
Wow, you're not saving them to your hard drive?
No.
So before hard drive prices exploded for whatever reason, I bought some external drives, and I've got two 8 and one 12. I wish I had bought two 12s when they were $170, but now they're like $300. And I automatically OBS just dumps a file while it's streaming to the external drive.
I just noticed that. Look up and right of his head. There's also a case fan there.
Yes.
Or a case fan
There's
casing.
case fans all over the place.
It's a cover, but yeah, there's probably no fan in there.
No, there's no fan, but you know what I mean.
Oh,
Yeah, I only had noticed them on the bridge, but no, they're everywhere. 1100. I was about to say, but it's still dark, but they're in space. It's always dark. That'd be nice, actually. You can control the lighting perfectly. Oh, good job, Hoshi. But I'm just expecting to know you can't. Don't even try. How could you possibly know that? I can explain, Hoshi. No, you can't. They're all a fake. How much should I spend on my hard drive, I wonder? Let's see, I also I bought a 12 terabyte hard drive. I can't pronounce anything today. Yeah, I spent a little more than that on my 12 terabyte. 250. Not ideal.
That's not bad actually per like gigabyte to spend. That's actually a really great deal. Dollar per gigabyte.
It's gibberish.
What do you mean, Reed? You don't know the word. If she doesn't know the words or the grammar or anything, how's she supposed to talk to them? Hoshi's linguistic skills never really made any sense to me.
Yeah.
So, how's the weather?
It's alright.
Cool. Random ensign. Okay.
Wait, he said take. Oh, he said take the tom as opposed to take the ton. That's a very confusing language to use, Archer.
Take
'Cause
the communication station.
one is take this small station. The other is take command of the bridge. They're very different things.
Ew, a water shower.
Back in the day when ships were navigated by steering wheel and rudder, take the con was take like the bridge or control of the ship.
Yes. Yeah, that's
So-
probably where it originates from. But I'm just saying that having those two abbreviations
Con and com.
makes it horrible. They would never have that in military. They
I
have
like
an
this show.
entire the proof that they would never have that in military is that they have an entire
In this
phonetic
scene,
alphabet to
Hoshi
avoid
was
such
scared by
things.
fog.
We don't have sonic showers yet.
And she wasted so much water. I guess she has to wait for it to heat up.
Now that's a great idea. A little shampoo pump right there in your shower.
Now, this is something which would be plausible to us because we've seen
So-
it in a previous episode, or at least we see it as Boimler, at least.
How is a shower in like the most Spartan ship, that
It's
we've
so
seen
spacious.
on
It's
screen?
bigger
better-
than her
right.
quarters.
It's
Yeah.
bigger than the one in my house. It's
Don't
nicer.
worry about it. Though, my
Nice.
concern there is when Hoshi got some shampoo, put it in her hands, she put her hands out to, look at it. But the way she put her hands out, it would have just been washed away by the vertical shower head.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit.
What are you doing,
Well,
Hoshi? That's not how you shampoo.
I always put like a quarter-size dollop of shampoo in my hand and then put a little water in it, before I apply to my hair.
Okay.
So maybe that's what she's doing.
I don't use shampoo.
Oh, good job, Crewman Baird. Crewman Baird did it.
Yeah, Hoshi's skills don't make sense. But I think like it's kind of like plot armor.
It's just they don't have an extra 3 hours to show her slowly learning
Right.
the language.
Right. And like the Rosetta Stone took like decades to decipher. So it's like they
Well,
can't
that was without linguistic algorithms.
Good point, actually.
which I jest at, but are actually honestly very useful.
Stayed for the male grooming tips? Beard
Actually-
oil is good for your beard health. There's a grooming tip.
It really once we
A
realized the
male
Rosetta
grooming
Stone
tip.
was 3 different languages, it didn't take that long to decipher it.
Yeah.
So we're pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, as soon as we realized it was saying the same thing, we were like, oh, okay, we can just identify the different words from other texts we know.
Yeah.
Make sure to wash your feet. There's a grooming tip.
But yeah, British did that.
They wash their feet.
Yes.
That's good.
They
Well, fair.
the French were conquered Egypt during the Napoleonic era, but then it became a British governorate or protectorate, and that's when they so much knowledge of the ancient world was advanced during that period. But on slightly related, right, to the show, it's Enterprise is almost like this is not going to be politically correct, but this is 2002.
Oh, what are you?
Okay, but
That's never followed by something good.
it's not too bad. But
That's what do you mean?
Oh man,
Archer's
you're treading in dangerous
Archer-
It's
territory.
okay. I'm hovering over the mute button. Go ahead.
Okay, it's dense history, so it's not going to offend anyone, hopefully. But Archer sailing around to new parts of the space is almost like Magellan circumnavigating the world.
What does that have
And
to do with political incorrectness? That's just
Well, it makes
know who
everybody else
Magellan is.
barbarous savages, in a way. So that's kind of how Enterprise treats all these new planets and species.
I think you're
Well,
just
sometimes
trolling me.
they're the savages.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, remember the whole genocide bit in season 1?
Yeah. Okay, I guess 1 second.
You wouldn't catch me going in the suicide box.
It's literally a suicide and
Those
cloning
silly
thing.
humans.
It's the most crazy piece of technology in all of Star Trek. Especially now that
But
we've
it
seen
works
it can
very
literally
well.
just be used to clone people at will. It's not even hey, this is a random occurrence that is due to the effects of the planet, like we saw with Kirk. It's hey, now we just split the transporter streams as part of a safety mechanism, and now we can just clone people as all you like.
So, conditioner. Conditioner is a vital part of healthy hair care. You don't want to shampoo every day, then you'll just be stripping your hair of oils and it'll have to overcompensate.
What? You don't
Yeah.
shampoo every day?
No, you're not supposed to shampoo every day.
Or if you do,
Oh,
just put
well.
conditioner because it puts the
Yeah.
silicates back in your hair.
I just here's the thing. Like, I have very oily skin, and if I don't shampoo every day, it just gets gross. So
No, see, that's the thing. A lot of people, well, I mean,
hair oils and skin oils are pretty healthy usually.
if you wash it away constantly, then it just has to replenish itself, and then it starts overcompensating, and it doesn't stop producing oil, and it's a whole thing.
But I've tried. It just gets worse. And the thing is, like, my skin oils dissolve like headsets, like the ear cups, and it's just no. And keyboards, my skin oils dissolve the keys on my keyboards. It's crazy.
I mean, I used to work at an internet cafe. Human beings typing fingertips on keyboards rubs away the letters on the keyboard.
Yeah, but I'm one person. I'm not.
It's called erosion. You know, like it just happens.
Yeah, you're one person, but how much are you using the keyboard?
Yeah.
Well,
It's not like five people
the
can use the
episode,
keyboard at once.
quickly, though.
You
So they
shouldn't
actually
sing-
spent
show
money on a
yourself.
working version of this mechanism that
for
Tucker's
some
But
reason.
using.
Ryan, these are PBT keys. They're supposed to be like uber wear resistant.
While we're still on this scene, so that gyroscope equipment, I feel like the
Yeah.
only reason that's on the ship
Centrifuge?
is because one of the person in the production
Oh.
staff wanted it, and they used an excuse of, oh, we could use it for the show. But no, they just wanted it.
Probably.
I mean, it's
Do
an
you remember
amazing
it-
prop. Why do we
well,
have a
you
life-size
don't remember.
gyroscope?
I mean, it is actually honestly a very useful prop for flying in space because it's a method of trading that has been used for
In the
spatial
90s,
orientation.
they had those in shopping malls, and you had to pay like $10 to go on it for a few minutes.
Gyroscopes
Can't do that.
rely on gravity, so it's not really. It's kind of. It's a little jank.
That's interesting. I forgot they rely on gravity because, like, your cell phone has a gyroscope made out of rare earth metals, minerals, whatever, and elements. And
Do you mean accelerometer? It has accelerometers. It doesn't have gyroscopes.
isn't that the same thing? Accelerometer is like a little tiny gyroscope made out of rare earth.
I don't think so. I think it's like a weird load cell.
Okay.
I don't
like,
think there's
that's why
anything
you-
spinning inside
Like,
accelerometers.
right, but that's the thing. So you don't need a gyroscope if you have an accelerometer. So
Oh,
it replaces a gyroscope.
Hoshi is phasing. Oh,
Very cool
she's
effects.
spooky. Just go through the door, Hoshi. There's
So
so many questions about how ghosts work. I mean, obviously, they
This-
don't. But
The Centerpress is like that episode where Rolaren and Jordy were on the
Yes.
Enterprise with the phased in and out. Phased
it's the same
existence.
episode, but it's Hoshi
It's
now.
the same episode.
Accelerometers can be used for inertial guidance, like in missiles and in drilling machines, like deep Earth drilling machines. And so, if you have an accelerometer that's capable of inertial guidance, it's precise enough. It's classified as a weapon by ITAR, so you can't export it or sell it to people.
So
somebody-
spooky ghosts. Why don't they fall through the floor?
That's a great question, actually. Because
Yes.
They're clearly affected by gravity.
Why
would
don't they
just
just be? Why doesn't the ship like move away from them and they're just stuck in the same point in space? So the ship just keeps going and they're just
Yeah.
go right through the walls out into space.
Apparently, ghost spirits couple with the
Grav
Higgs
plating.
fields, They must have
following
mass.
That is
mutants.
theoretically possible.
Okay,
Yeah,
they
it's-
still have mass,
it's
just
debatable.
phased matter. Okay.
The gravity plating holds onto the ghosts. But why didn't the phased Geordi and
They use that
Rolaren
Ghostbuster
just go
technology
right
in their
through the ship?
starships.
That's a great question, but
That's a very reasonable concern, Doctor. I would be concerned that my molecules weren't assembled properly.
so
she's sitting on the
But
sick
how?
bay.
table as well.
Now, in this case, I think it does make sense because Hoshi, it's not like a
Is-
physical thing that's happening. It's all in her imagination.
Yeah.
She thinks she can sit on that, so she can. But it doesn't make sense for Geordi and Ro, because they actually are phased.
You know, that was a really great episode because you get Picard drawing a happy face in the clouds and then laughing, and you're like,
That was a
"What's-"
different episode.
Oh,
But it
sorry,
was a
sorry.
good scene.
Yes.
Though
also-
cloud is a very benign way to describe an explosion that was going to kill 1,000 people.
True. It was a warp core leak, but it was a lighthearted moment before the warp core exploded.
I don't know why I just noticed this now, but God, T'Pol is so thin.
Yeah.
Like, unhealthily thin. I'm concerned about her now.
I love Hoshi's outfit. It's like
Oh,
she's
she's
going out for a
fine.
jog.
Oh, she was in the gym.
It's that vegan.
Okay.
It's that vegan diet.
She didn't look like fit thin. She looked like starving herself thin.
Didn't
Welcome to Hollywood.
Unlike Phlox.
Didn't-
Phlox, my man.
Flux isn't too bad. He has a dad bod.
Yeah, he does.
So he's a dad.
Well, oh no, he is, yeah.
Did
What,
you-
3 or 4 kids?
Did you hear they're launching a remake of Quantum Leap?
Yes.
But
not gonna watch it,
is it Scott Bakula?
No, I doubt, because that man he's done.
It
He's
could be
still
old
acting.
Scott.
No, but I hope they don't cast him.
Al is dead. They can't recast Scott Bakula without Al.
Yeah. He
Oh, that's why Hoshi's not flying out of the ship. They haven't been moving. Now Hoshi's about to fly out the back wall.
They're still flying around
No,
the.
no.
No.
They're orbiting the planet. The planet's
Yeah,
orbiting the
they're
sun. The
orbiting.
sun is orbiting the galactic core.
No,
The
no, no,
galaxy is
don't
moving
worry
away from the
about it.
center of
They
the
weren't
universe.
moving in space. It's fine. Yeah, they have to at least do a Scott Bakula cameo. I haven't watched Quantum Leap. I think I watched like half of an episode.
It's fantastic.
It really is. It's really good sci-fi. Like that in Sequest, when there was no Star Trek on the air, that's what filled up my
Sequest, DSV, yeah.
yeah.
And there was what 20 something. They had like
2026 or something. Yeah,
when it went from being a research vessel to being a military vessel.
right, 2260. But like basically like there was especially Sequest was like Star Trek in the deep ocean, but I like how this is like an episode of like what's that show where they find ghosts in haunted houses and they run like they pretend to have like some kind of they record the audio and like they hear creaking and they swear that it's like paranormal activity.
Every horror movie ever.
No, but there's a show in like on like history where like they go to like real life haunted houses.
Ghost Hunters?
Ghost
Hunters?
Yeah.
Is that the word you're looking for?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I watched the episode of Ghost Hunters, and the guy is looking through a FLIR thermal camera, and he sees his own reflection in a metal mirror, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's a ghost! Look!" And he's like waving at it, and it's waving back, and I'm like, "You moron! It's your own reflection in the metal."
No, it's a spooky ghost.
So this just became an episode of that.
So are they gonna bury the little bit
Trip.
of goo?
You're not gonna do something weird with the goo, are you, Trip?
No, you're the one making it weird.
You're not gonna talk to the goo, are you, Trip?
He is talking to the goo.
No, he's talking to her spirit.
Okay, so now this is
Yeah.
Hoshi imagining Tucker as incompetent.
Well,
God, how could he let me go up first? What's wrong with him?
By the way, did we already have the call to her dad? That was like the most ridiculous scene in the whole show. And
Right,
we've
yeah.
had some ridiculous scenes in this show. But it's like, what? Why are you calling me? What do you mean she's dead? Call me
She
back
can't
later.
be dead. She has a contract.
Yeah, right. But it was just very upsetting to watch. Because, I could never do the job where, like when a soldier has to tell another soldier.
Aliens.
You could never do that.
Well, I mean, I'm not a soldier, so I couldn't do that feasibly, but like,
Let's try
I'll
imaginative,
call-
Hoshi.
I'll call Mr. and Mrs. E-Review Senior and say, "I'm sorry, but
Earview tragically died today in the line of streaming.
yeah."
Oh, she's trotting over down through the doors now.
oh,
How
look at
come-
those paint.
Wait, his door says emergency evac on a sticker on it, but that's just his door.
I think it's you press there to like open the door for this open secret access.
It was
for,
just like
the
a
fire.
sticker in the middle, like it right there. It's on the right.
Here's the father scene.
It's just a plate.
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be there.
There's only one exit. Where else is he gonna go? Out the window.
Of course, he's gonna go out the window.
God, Hoshi, I know you're a spooky ghost, but you can at least put on a uniform. Technically, you're on duty.
She don't touch her uniform.
Oh, but she can touch her little midriff, whatever you call that shirt.
She already had that on.
She had a uniform on when she got phased. Why doesn't that one work?
Because in her mind, she wasn't transformed yet.
It's a teleporter.
So yeah, I hate to say it, but Dr. McCoy was right. The transporter is not medically sound. You cannot convince me.
Her dad's not all there, is he?
This is like
The Archer, just come out and say, Hoshi's dead. Come on.
Yeah.
You're not
That
making
was
this easy for
an
him.
interesting plate.
This also reminds me of that Patrick Swayze movie Ghosts with Whoopi Goldberg. No, I'm sorry, I'm
God.
confusing. But like somehow with willpower,
How
a
does that
ghost
button
can
work?
access the physical universe. And that makes no sense. But if you think really hard, you can pick up a knife, basically.
You lost her. Oh, where did you last see her?
Yeah, this guy is like the worst. He's like doing a comedy act.
Yeah, this
He's so thick. Like he's not
See-
getting it.
this scene is not realistic at all. But basically it's here so we can see Hoshi struggle and be like, I'm here, I'm here. But now it's verified. In the Star Trek universe, your Katra can interact with the physical world.
If you're Vulcan,
I don't
if you're
think that's
Vulcan,
canon because this is a hallucination.
This is not a hallucination.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is a hallucination.
None of this
The
is
whole
real.
episode's a hallucination.
In this episode, Hoshi is not, in fact, a spooky ghost. She just thinks she is.
No, but she's signaling SOS right now.
But this isn't really happening.
It's in her hallucination.
Okay.
We're gonna have the reveal in just a few minutes where, everything was actually totally fine. We made it up. It was a total fabrication.
Okay, so we just got to see Hoshi in her exercise outfit. You know, I was explaining I'm from India. So my mom was explaining how back in the day you would get a telegram when someone died, and they were expensive, so you get, literally two, 3 words like so and so has expired. And I was explaining to her why it was so expensive. It's because they communicated dots and dashes. And only because I remember from this episode.
It was expensive because they owned the lines and they charged you whatever they felt like, not because it was dots and dashes.
They're charging by the dot.
Okay, but you have to build the power cables from Cape Town to Cairo.
Yeah, but once they build it, it literally costs nothing to operate, so they just charge you whatever they want because they can.
Yeah, but
That's
then you have
literally
to upgrade,
the
you have to upgrade
telecommunications
from
monopoly.
4G to 5G, so that
Did
costs
she just
money
call
too,
that a
so-
plasma circuit?
It
Yeah.
doesn't cost more than they make
Why is
annually.
that little LED running on plasma? Also, how is it self-contained? Where's the plasma coming from? What do you mean, Paul?
Do have all this extra stuff if it's a hallucination.
Hoshi, what are you gonna do? You can't punch them. You don't exist.
Shaky cam.
Is this like the point of view of one of the aliens we're looking at? With the shaky cam? So this isn't Enterprise's fault. This is something that happens in Star Trek and really needs to be addressed, where the internal sensors should always be scanning.
Yeah.
They should have noticed someone's on the warp core. Sorry, the warp reactor. It's not a warp core in this show. It's a reactor.
I don't remember why she's in a different uniform.
Hoshi?
She's in the same
She went to
tracksuit.
the gym. And that was what she's got stuck in.
She's
The
in-
other person was not
That was
Hoshi.
the
Never
very
mind.
episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Hoshi's in this uniform because it's an episode about Hoshi, so we have to see her midriff.
Right. And
That's why.
her arm was like fully extended, like for a full 5 minutes in that last scene.
Hoshi, why are you hiding? You're a ghost. What are they gonna do?
I didn't find. Well, never mind.
You didn't find who?
Nothing. Never mind.
He didn't find nothing.
Whoa, my love.
No singing.
Sorry. But you saw that Patrick Swayze movie though?
With the pottery at the end and the
Yeah.
escalator.
Yeah. All that. So how is she working this device? Anyway.
What is that? They have their own. I thought these were primitives. Okay, so right when the ship explodes, that's when she's gonna wake up, unable to save the Enterprise.
That's when I wake up from my nightmares.
There's waking up from it in the transporter there.
We found her, and she changed her hairstyle.
So this is the transporter psychosis also? Like
Hoshi, you're being hysterical. Trouble? Yeah, you stopped existing for a bit. Yep, it was all hallucination. It was all fake.
Yes.
None
I
of this
missed that.
happened.
Missed that.
Like,
Also, yeah, they probably should take her claims more seriously. If she comes up shouting, they planted a bomb on the warp core, I feel like they should go check.
yeah, they
just
should
to
just
be
check the
safe.
footage.
Yeah, let's just check to make sure.
I mean, there's no footage, but ask anyone if they saw.
Someone
that
could
in
go
real time.
look. There's people
Yeah.
there in the room.
Go look. See if there's any bombs strapped to the warp reactor.
When was this considered terrible Star Trek? I love this episode. It's fun.
The thing, every show has an episode that doesn't go anywhere, and it's just designed to like. spin
That's
its
every
tracks.
Star Trek episode, at least of old Trek. None
Not
of them
well,
go
don't
anywhere.
consider her claims for a second because she was in there for 8 seconds. She can't
Yeah.
have seen any of it.
But she hallucinated the whole 8 hours though.
I understand that logically, yes, there's no way she can know that someone planted a bomb. But still, we're talking about planting a bomb on the warp core. It's not going to hurt
Yes.
to look at it.
I suppose, but
Yeah.
like, it's just hallucination from her.
Even if it's you don't know that until you check.
Yeah, no, Star Trek is inherently an episodic thing until like 2018.
Right.
So yeah, most of them don't go anywhere. They just kind of happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Planet of the Week.
Well, Deep Space Nine was a lot more serialized.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, only the last,
I mean,
only the
they had
Dominion War, really.
they had the roots of the Dominion built in like season 2
Yeah,
or 3.
yeah.
Like
well, I mean,
about so
you could say like there was a big arc in Next
Yeah.
Generation. There was like 3 arcs. They had like season 1, season 2, and season 3, and then there was like an overarching arc between all 3
Season
of
one
them. And
had
they kinda
a-
abandoned it.
A recurring plot line about the parasite aliens.
Right.
And then we had
right.
a recurring Borg.
Yeah,
but
they
for
were
now,
supposed
1
to
minute
give
for the
us-
next episode, Precious Cargo, by the way. So everyone queue up to 0000.
They were supposed to give us a thing with the Cardassians, the Romulans where
We.
I said
are back.
Cardassians because the Romulan was played by Mark Alamo, and
And then they kind of replaced
Um,
the Romulan threat with Cardis.
yeah, they were gonna have the Romulans and the Federation team up on investigating the Borg and fighting the Borg, and then I guess there was like a writer strike or something, and they just abandoned that whole.
Oh, we get that
concept.
fulfilled in Lower Decks. A little bit.
do you
Okay.
like the harmonica?
In the intro sequence of Lower Decks, they have a scene of fighting a Borg cube, and there's a bunch of Romulan Derdexes there fighting it. And the Cerrito shows
Right.
up.
Oh, you're right.
And the Cerrito just leaves.
Well, yeah, I mean, people got some. But for now, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. People in comments got so mad about the Cerritos leaving. It's like, why? It's a
It's a
like,
tender
oh, the
ship. isn't it?
Federation
It's
would
like
never run
basically-
away.
I love the
It's a ship that can do literally nothing in that scenario. Why would you stay?
The intro of this episode makes me feel like it's an episode of Cowboy Bebop.
they really country it up here.
Yes.
Well, he
Like-
is Floridian.
Yeah, it's on par with
Isn't he-
fried catfish.
Wait, no, isn't he from Georgia and
No, he's from.
his
Well,
sister lived in Florida?
I think.
He's
well,
from Georgia.
when Florida's destroyed, he reminisces about like going to the movie theater and stuff. I think he's from
Okay.
Florida.
Florida.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's
He's
Floridian.
if he's from Florida, he's got to be in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Let's see, Charles Tucker the Third.
But one thing I realized though,
I
is
looked up
that-
Trip Tucker.
That was a
Be-
short cold open.
because LA is on the West Coast, Star Trek didn't really have
It's
a lot
Panama
of
City, Florida.
Star Trek didn't really have a lot of country characters, or like also in the news and media, like people with rustic accents are trained to have a more neutral accent. and also we kind of stereotype them to be less intelligent. So it's actually really cool that we have a southern accented
Yes, it's
country.
definitely in the
guy.
Panhandle.
Yeah,
I don't think the
Panhandle is
Panhandle got vaporized though.
no, that was Central
No,
Florida,
it was
Orlando.
the
It was Disney
peninsula.
World. It was Disney World they took. It was
We
Central
didn't really
Florida.
need it. It's fine. We lost Florida and Cuba, but we can live with it. Could have been worse. What does Cuba even do?
Cuba
The only
used to
thing I
be
really
the
know about Cuba is massive sanctions.
right. So we used to have like real sugar in our candy, and then because we put a boycott on Cuba, we decided to make high fructose corn syrup and subsidize the corn farmers instead. So I would really like to get sugarcane back in my candy bars.
Why is this person not flying a triangle ship? What is this weird boxy thing? Rectangles are the worst shape. That's why the
Yes,
Borg are so
I'll just
evil.
set it up.
Padme Lakshmi is the guest star's name?
That is a famous model, and she is Salman Rushdie's wife, who's a famous writer and
I just didn't know
controversial.
Padme was her real name. I think Padme, I think Star Wars.
Padma is her name, actually.
Padma.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another one where Trip takes liberties with an alien.
Yeah. Though this time
Yeah.
it's not assault. This time they're both into it.
No, this time
Yeah.
she does it to him though, mostly.
And I think this episode has some beef jerky in it, and beef jerky's pretty cool, so that's fun.
These two are just generic bad guys.
I don't think the guy on the right is generic. He sounds familiar. Who's that dude? Enterprise, precious cargo. IMD. No, I don't think I know that guy. Okay, the question is, which of these is Furic Goff and which of these is Furic Plin? Who is who here?
Jeez, what is this mess of tubing?
Okay, so okay, this must be the guy I'm thinking of. In Deep Space Nine, he plays a Vorta.
Oh, that's cool.
He plays the Vorta that works with the Orion Syndicate to assassinate a Klingon.
I want a Star Trek series that follows a Klingon
Did you post a
crew
picture
and ship.
of that Vorta, Ryan, somewhere?
I
Oh,
could.
it's
No, I was
this
just
episode where he ends up in with the shuttle pods with her.
Sleeping
escape
Beauty
pod.
here.
Vorta, what was his name? Gelnon.
Sleeping Beauty.
Copy image link. General chat. Paste. Paste. There he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, clearly.
Oh, that's the same picture again.
Clearly.
What is this? I did not copy properly.
Oh, I love this guy. Yeah, he's the one who, when they blow up the entire station, he's like, "We're authorizing you to come in now." And then Cisco and the gang. Here's Magellan.
Yeah, this guy is a little sus.
Suspicious. Yeah.
No, we're not allowed to say the full word anymore, Soma.
What? What?
You're not allowed to say suspicious. You have to just say sus.
Sus is in.
Come on, shave 5 months off the trip. She get there a little early. She can like get a job or a hotel or something.
You can defrost her and let her stretch her legs.
Is she aging while she's frosty?
No, well, I'd hope not.
She's cryogenically frozen.
Well, she's in stasis, which
Um,
generally means it's about the same thing.
Right, suspended animation. Right.
Oh
You're right.
wow. She's
You're right, there are
like,
two different things.
oh, she's jealous. Who's this?
It concerns me that that has not fogged over again or iced over again.
I think there was also a show like Top Chef. Like she was a guest host for one season, but okay, as a supermodel, let me just say she was not qualified to judge people's dishes. She
Hang on,
just
hang on.
agreed.
The grammar there was ambiguous. As a supermodel, are you saying you're a supermodel? As a supermodel, I'm saying that she was not qualified.
I'm just saying I didn't care
She's
for her.
a supermodel.
I didn't care for her opinions about the food on the show. I don't understand why she was a guest on the show, other than other than the reason she's a
Do you
guest.
feel
on this
that
show.
you're more qualified?
I am a little bit
Yes,
snobby about my Michelin stars. Yeah,
It is very
Um,
obvious why
Have
she
you
is
been
on
to
the
a
show.
Michelin star restaurant?
no, I'm poor. I can't even afford a 12 terabyte hard drive.
Ooh, breadsticks.
So
I don't like T'Pol's meal. She has asparagus and some cherry tomatoes and a lemon. What kind of meal is that?
So the Enterprise takes on two aliens with a woman in tow, and they never ask questions about who exactly is their um hostage or passenger.
Oh, come on, you barely touched him.
Look how he is using the fork, like a shovel, like a trowel.
Works.
Use a
Okay,
fork
that's
for
the
it,
Vorta.
clearly.
That is 100% the Vorta there.
Like I would call him my second favorite Vorta, but I do love the guy whose last words are "I hate Ferengi."
You're telling me your favorite Vorta is not Weyoon?
No, I'm saying besides William. I said second,
Okay.
right? I said second favorite Vorta. I expressly said second. I'm not trying to get banned from the show, Ryan. Okay, I already do enough stuff. I'm not going to mess with Wayoon's Jeffrey. I know my place.
Let's see, we get... How many Vorta do we have? We have Weyoon, we have Iggy Pop, we
Mhm.
have Kevon, who hates Ferengi.
You have that woman from the planet where they had the rocks and
Yeah,
trolls.
that's the first
Yeah, from the
and then the
search.
first Vorta we meet also, who we don't know the species.
Oh, that other woman, yeah.
Yeah,
I think her
When
name
she
has
does
an L and
the
an S
mind
in
trick.
it. I want to say Laris, but that's a Romulan from Star Trek Picard. That's
She's
a different
lemur.
person.
She's like a straight up lemur.
Ooh.
These Enterprise has some cool
There's-
ship designs. Though.
There's the Lady Vorta who lets a founder get killed. I don't know her
Right.
name.
What makes them think that that little clamp is going to hold the ship on? You know, has it ever worked? Has it ever held the ship
Well,
steady?
it's not supposed to hold it on physically. The idea is the aliens will be too afraid to scratch their paint. It's a psychological barrier more than
What's
a physical
Wayoon's
one.
actor's name again?
Jeffrey Combs.
Thank you.
I don't even see the
Jeff-
fire in this time.
Nah, don't need it.
When do we get him next?
Jeffrey?
Yeah.
I think next week actually.
Okay, great.
He should be. I think ceasefire is next week with Shran in.
Oh right.
How does this
Territorial
work?
dispute.
How does this? How do they fall for this? Come on.
Have you considered moving the ship slightly upward? And they're gone. Reed, you could have just shot them again. Oh, Jesus,
All right.
Padma.
Look how quickly they moved out of sensor range.
That thing's sharp, too. She could have, like, impaled that guy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is that? It's a double crowbar.
It's
Yeah.
that looks like it almost looks like an ice climbing pick.
Yeah, but it has a
yeah, it's
wrench
some
at
type
the
of
other
weird
end. It
crowbar.
has like a
No,
wrench.
it's a double crowbar, like you
Yeah.
said. Let's see, double crowbar. Trying to
All
find
the
an image of
way
this.
across
Oh,
the
I found
sky.
it. I found it. It's a T-type wrecking bar.
I mean, I guess the idea is that each end is at a different angle for
I'll
different
post it in
males that
general.
need pride.
T-type wrecking bar. Harbor Freight. Let's see how much it is.
Well, it's Harbor Freight, so you're probably going to get a pretty cheap version.
It's probably like $8, you know. But like that's a real. That's a
Just
like they
leaving
didn't
them
make like a
unguarded.
rubber one. She hit him with like
Well, no, she
an
didn't hit
actual
him.
steel.
She did.
They probably put like
I
some
don't
thick
think
padding in his
I don't
back
think
and let her
Padma
hit it.
hit. Wait, what's
Padma,
Tucker's name?
Padma.
It's
Padma Lakshmi.
it's $9.99
Girls Tucker.
at Harbor
No,
Freight.
who's the actor?
Padma Lakshmi.
Oh, I've forgotten the answer. Tucker.
Who plays Charles Tucker? Connor. I don't think she hit Connor with a
Trinier,
steel
of
crowbar.
course.
Tricanier. Connor Tricanier.
He doesn't know what you're saying, Trip. I guess it's the tone that matters. He sounds conciliatory.
Plus, he's cute, so that helps.
He's alright.
Don't make that hand motion to a woman. It's horrible.
He's just playing charades. He's got to work with what he's got. What do you want him to do?
I'm getting mixed signals from her. She looks
What
angry,
mixed
but she
signal?
also
She's
looks
angry. There's
interested.
only one signal. Anger.
No. Sometimes
She has Dax-like spots.
Yes.
yeah.
But she isn't a trill, I don't think.
No, she's a princess.
She's not a
from Zelda.
trill.
She's a princess.
She's not the same spot species as that other supermodel lady
Jerry Ryan.
from TNG. Famke. That lady. I don't know her name.
It's like
You don't know who I am. No.
Well,
No,
Earth
not
doesn't
Earth.
know anything. Padma. Earth are just they're hicks. Earth is a backwater. They don't know nothing.
also
You know nothing. Charles Tucker.
Princess Kimbata of Star Trek 1 was a model. And
Like, can I get some of that if I return you safely? Like a discount rate?
What?
If if he brings her back, will he get the reward instead?
so something ridiculous about this hostage is that she's like, okay, my family will just pay the ransom. Like she knows her, like just so routine to like kidnap members of the royal family and return them for the money that she's okay with her status as a hostage. But obviously, this episode is just meant for another liaison with Trip.
Yeah, how come Trip gets all the ladies in this, more or less?
Well, it can't be Archer because Archer has to have feelings for T'Pol. It can't be Reed
But
because
then
he's the worst.
T'Pol gets with Archer, or T'Pol gets with Trip.
But
The
that's
heck?
not what their plan is right now. It can't be Reed because nobody likes Reed.
Although,
and
wait.
It couldn't be
Archer doesn't have
Travis
that
because
personality.
Travis barely exists in the first place.
Archer got that lady on the Renaissance planet.
Reed
True.
doesn't even like anyone knowing anything about his
And
personality.
he kind of got that lady on Ryza, but it was really just a.
It would be so awkward
She
if
was
we
a
had, like,
spy.
if Reed went on a date and we got to like know him, like it would just be, what's wrong with this picture?
With Tucker?
No, Reed, because Malcolm Reed is like, what's his favorite food is like a deep mystery.
I mean, I don't even know what my favorite food is, to be honest.
You
I haven't
make
really
that
thought
lemon
about
chicken.
it.
Lemon chicken.
It concerns me that you remember that.
Sorry.
Do they?
Though, no, it is not my favorite. It's just something I happened to be making that week. Like 6 months ago. Why do you remember what I was making for dinner 6 months ago?
I don't know.
Do they not have a brig?
Trivia.
Do they not have a brig set yet?
No,
No.
they only get the break in season 3 when they needed to airlock a dude.
Well, no, they're airlocking the dude right now. But they had no. Why
Let
is
me
that LED
rephrase. They
showing?
only get the break in season 3 when they need to take that guy captive, who was
The
like
guy with the
a thief.
twisted face.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
twisted face guy, and then they threaten to airlock
When they're in
him
the expanse.
while he's in the brig.
Yeah. Well, they're threatening to airlock this guy right now.
But they don't have a brig set yet.
Take a temperature probe, put a little gear on the side and a little box on the top, and now it's a space tool. I don't think those things, the stick-on stuff, was even necessary. Just
By the
the
way-
silver temperature probe is fine.
Generally speaking, if anybody like leaves during dinner to take a phone call and then something bad happens, they had something to do with that.
Is there any evidence to the theory that Reed is gay?
What?
I think the only information we get on that is his trip to Ryza, and he was very much interested in a woman there. Well, technically she was a man. But he didn't know
But
that
he
at the
thought
time.
She was a woman.
They had some off-color jokes in Enterprise about gender.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was like a gender joke. It was just they were a shapeshifter trying to trick people.
Yeah, but I think in the first episode or something, when they're on that like cloud planet, free cloud planet, they're like, "Is that a man or a woman or what?" Or
Why is this ship so big for only 2 people?
Is that your first name or your last name?
But do you know who Salman Rushdie is, Ryan?
Who?
Salman
Second?
Rushdie. He was an
No.
Indian Muslim author who wrote a book called The Satanic Verses, and then the government of Iran put a death sentence on him and a bounty of $1 million, and then they eventually withdrew it. But they had to like the publishing house. This is in like 1988, so the publishing house had to be like
That
have
was
bomb-sniffing
unnecessary, that
dogs.
bit.
So but she
Got
was
a
his wife.
He got a hit put on him for writing a book?
Yeah. So it made fun of the Prophet of Islam and his wives. So but he's a fiction writer. So but she was his wife, Padma Lakshmi and Salman Rushdie. Then
Okay.
eventually they got divorced. But
Rick Berman!
he was a controversial writer.
Rick Berman, do you know how much that thing costs?
This
actually
entire
looks-
scene, this entire half of the episode is Rick Berman.
I don't know if this
Did you
thing's
ever-
actually expensive because it ripped really easily. It wasn't a very strong material.
Well, that's expensive things are often fragile. So, has anyone ever seen the movie Romance in the Stone?
No.
No?
There's
But
this
generally any
guy.
fabric will break easily if you put a snip in it.
Yeah, so there's a guy, I can't remember what he is, like some type of treasure hunter or mercenary or something, and he's with like a, I don't know, she's like a model or something, and they're stuck in the jungle, and they're trying to work their way out, and she's getting stuck in the mud all the time, and he takes her shoes. She's like, "Give me those," and takes a machete and chops the heels off. And she's like, "Hey, those were Italian." He's like, "Yeah, well now they're practical."
I mean, that's not exactly how heels to flats works, but sure.
But during World War II, um, the Italian fascist regime of Benito Mussolini had their uniforms made by Hugo Boss, but there were so many intricate like leather layers to their military uniforms that they couldn't make them fast enough. They couldn't deploy them to their troops, and they were very not fit for battle. So Italy lost every single one of its engagements from Ethiopia to Greece, and Hitler had to bail them out every time. Because the Italians were more worried about looking good than actually fighting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tama. Did you want to find another star system in your sub-light shuttle escape pod? Are these ones not
This
good enough
episode-
for you?
This episode is just basically Romance in the Stone in Star Trek.
Okay, so this escape pod is not at
Romancing the
warp, but it
Stone.
still gets like the warp, the stars moving to the side.
I mean,
So that's not
like
warp
asking
dust.
Which doesn't make sense in any case. Either
how
way.
how in Star Trek 4
It makes
do we
sense
get
if
to
you
this-
assume it's dust moving around the deflector.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening here.
How in Star Trek 4 did they reach the center of the galaxy in like a matter of hours, like to go find Shakari? It's just, distances in Star Trek are kind of going to be a little bit, as long as we need them to be. But she's such a princess here. She's like, "Don't touch me."
Well,
And
she is
we're gonna
literally
stay
a princess, so
hostages.
yes.
Yeah, the princess and the pea.
The princess and the crowbar smacked not Archer. Who's it? What's his name? Tucker in the
Tucker.
back.
Wait, what? There's just a joystick there. That look. She's totally into him.
She is.
I vote she hits him with another crowbar.
See, Ryan, I can tell these things.
How do you
I mean, yeah,
separate?
it is obviously a romance episode of a sort.
Of a sort.
How do you separate Trip
Whoops.
from a girl on the show with a crowbar?
With a crowbar.
I'm telling you, Trip is just sex on a stick.
I mean, if you're into
Oh,
that,
is
I
this-
guess.
I remember this. This is the bit where they pretend T'Pol's gonna execute this dude.
Yeah, this part is crazy.
They
Forgot
put him in
about
the airlock.
that. They pretend like he's gonna go before a tribunal and T'Pol's
No,
gonna
and
be the
T'Pol
judge during
is like,
Oh, wait, no.
Executioner.
Did they take him to the... Wait, did they take him to the transporter?
T'Pol is
that
like-
sounds right.
I think they took him to the transporter. And they're like, no, that was
Yeah, I don't
another
think they
episode.
airlock him. Might be trans.
That was the episode with the zealots. They used the transporter as a
execution.
execution thing.
Mock
Yeah.
execution. Yeah. But I love how he bows to T'Pol here, like in this scene, like as though the Federation is not even Federation, Earth is subservient to Vulcan.
His tribunal in the dining room. You're subject to whoever's laws are the people holding the gun, Mr. Plyn. Orthos. If Porthos deserves you, you die. If Porthos says you deserve to die, then yeah, you probably do. Execution.
We left port with 185 crew members. We're down to 130.
What? What are you talking about? Are you saying this guy's gonna take Archer to court and sue him for emotional distress?
And the airlock.
She just has Vulcan robes on.
Yeah. High
They
priest
look
robes.
fancy. They look official.
I mean, the fact that she has the Vulcan
Yeah.
ambassador robes.
Doesn't this
Or-
go against Vulcans never lie? Vulcans are physically incapable
Well,
of lying.
Vulcans don't lie was always a lie to begin with.
Yeah.
And,
That's
oh,
just
actually,
what
I
they-
think it's canonically not against it here, though, because the Vulcans don't lie only begins with the Sirenites in season 4.
No, she says before Vulcans are incapable of lying. My species is incapable of lying.
Which is a lie.
Yeah, so it's not. It doesn't begin later. It's already been established many times at this point.
So, do these Vulcan robes look better or worse than like a black judge's robe?
Much better, but it might be the scenery too, because like the lighting is so harsh that you're just like scared of her.
Follow-up question. Judges, Soma, tend to wear these weird wigs. Is T'Pol wearing a wig, or is that just Jolene's hair?
Probably. Her hair, I don't know. I didn't look at it at the
It's
time.
not a very flattering cut. She had to keep it that way for 4 years.
I'll have a look next time.
But you should fear another culture's prison system, just because I remember like when I was a kid, just watched this random movie about a woman who was like put in prison in Thailand for accused of drug smuggling, and I think her like a boyfriend had put the package in her suitcase, and she had nothing to do with it, and she just spent like 10 years in a brutal foreign prison
Hmm.
with no way out.
Yes,
Um,
but in terms of Earth culture, yes, this is Earth culture as opposed to galactic culture. If there is not an extradition policy in place between two countries, you are entirely subject to that country's law, with the country that you're in at the time.
Right. Or lack of law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they found a camelback. Nice.
Not that that
Still,
actually
always
cleans
wipe it
up.
off first.
Coronavirus. All you humans are infected with coronavirus. We know it. You're spreading it across the galaxy.
Hey man, not all humans. I haven't been infected. Well, I guess I could have
we
been
all have we all have
asymptomatic.
viruses as part of us.
A lot
Everyone.
of- Well, a lot of
Is it?
bacteria.
No. Bacteria.
Beef jerky.
There shouldn't be any viruses inside of you unless you have some permanent virus.
Yeah, look at that beef jerky. Ooh, I've got some beef jerky right here.
I mean, don't most humans have been exposed to herpes at some point?
About 25%.
I thought it was like 99%.
No. No, just you.
What percentage of people are carriers of herpes? Google, what do you say? 67% of the population.
What?
Under 50.
Also, we have endogenic viruses or viral DNA from apes, which proves evolution.
I think you need to look
not
at that.
from
that
not from
source
current
there,
apes, from the apes that the common ancestor ape.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's what I mean.
I think. All right, let's see. How
It's the World Health Organization.
many people in USA have?
I mean, it says globally.
I remember it
so
being
I
1
don't
in
know if the
4.
statistics are different between countries, but there's my
It's
source in the
estimated
general
in the
chat
United
for
States
you.
is 47.8%
So
of
it's
people
not
14 to 49 have HSV1.
right. It's not
Well,
just me. Bro.
11.9%. It's not just me.
Look, the point is,
11.9% of HSV2.
a lot of people are carriers
We're talking
of herpes.
many viruses, not just one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
And it's not
I heard
that
it was
big a
1 in
deal.
4.
You've also got little, tiny little bugs in your eyebrows.
The only planet with an atmosphere in the solar system. That sounds quite unlikely.
Why?
I don't believe I have tiny little bugs in
Because
my eyebrows.
You do,
gas
Robo.
giants all have atmospheres, even but not ones
Oh,
that we
I see
can
what you're saying.
use.
Don't worry, Robo. It's not an infection. They're supposed to be there.
No, that's not to say every system has gas giants, but even rock planets have atmospheres. Tend to have atmospheres.
Very thin.
Do gas
ones
giants
or-
count as having an atmosphere? They kind of just are an atmosphere.
True.
I feel like have an atmosphere implies it's rocky.
Well, at some point, gas giants, you go from gas to liquid and then to
Yeah.
Maybe
a
we don't
solid.
even
There is
really
something-
know. We're
There
not
is
sure.
something to land on, probably.
We think there's like a liquid iron core.
We are going to try and land something in the gas giant eventually, or in a few years, decade or so.
I would love to be there.
That's going to take quite a bit of effort, considering throwing things into Jupiter's atmosphere has been our go-to method of destroying them.
True.
Yeah.
So good luck, I
we are
guess.
planning on trying it eventually.
I remember being a kid and weighing like 50 pounds and then putting my, at some science museum, what is your weight on Jupiter? I'm like 800 pounds on Jupiter.
Yeah.
And I'd be crushed by my own gravity.
Mass.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Or other weight.
So-
weight, I should say. Weight is the one it would be.
So, okay. About throwing things into Jupiter to destroy them, the Cassini probe did that.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
here's the Star Trek connection. Robert Picardo sung a little opera song about Cassini and about throwing it into Jupiter. The Doctor. I believe it's called Bravo Cassini, if you want to look that up. It's pretty good.
Oh, look, she has to carry her heels.
It's funny that she's keeping them with her.
Yeah.
You know, Tucker must feel right at home here, because this basically just looks like Florida. It's just a big swamp. I mean, she's right.
Her concern is actually for herself.
Yes, of course.
That's fair. You can't die. It's inconvenient. You can die later. Like, when could I? I mean, I've got stuff to do this weekend.
Quite the chest.
I could probably die starting Tuesday. I'm a little busy before then. I could fit that into my schedule.
How does he know?
Because he knows. Don't worry about it. He went to Starfleet Academy. He knows many things. Wait, does the Academy exist?
No.
There's something.
Starfleet
There's definitely
headquarters
something.
exists in
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Francisco.
The headquarters does exist. But that's because the treaty was signed in San Francisco.
Starfleet Academy. Let me look that up.
Never mind. It's the United Nations treaty that was signed in San Francisco.
Are within Starfleet. Existed as early as the 2140s.
Yeah,
I don't
so we're in
actually know what year it
2151.
is.
It's 2151.
Okay. So it has existed, but I feel like Tucker might not have gone, or he's a recent graduate, because, it just started existing.
And Hoshi doesn't make mention of it. Hoshi's definitely not Academy.
He may or may not have gone to Starfleet Academy. He may or may not know many things. You are the king of the swamp, Mr. Florida. Oh, okay, this is the part where they make out, because they're yelling at each other.
Yeah. Oh, this is where they're gonna kiss. Yeah.
Yep.
They have to fight a little more though.
Oh, the water was unnecessary.
It's Rick Berman.
I give it like 20 seconds max. There it is.
Yes. Am I ahead of you then?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
You can compare it
the
to
important
Discord.
is they're at it now, so we're all in. We're
So-
knee deep in hunk of
Yeah, I am slightly ahead of you.
So Trip, I'd like to talk to you about a few things you put in your report. And then you kissed her. Well, she kissed me first.
It's not like
We had to
he
talk
was
about
on a
this
mission
trip.
where he couldn't kiss people.
Then I
It's
put
whatever.
my
It's chill.
hand in the river, pulled out a catfish, and we fried it. I was Tarzan. She was my
He
Jane.
noodled for a catfish. He went noodling. Why is he in
Because his other stuff is drying.
boxer briefs?
He's in his underwear because we faded to black. That's why.
Uh-oh.
Should have left it going so that the Enterprise could get it.
I don't think we need
'Cause
to
they
worry
know
about
they
him
could do
getting
that.
her pregnant because she's a different species. It's probably fine.
We've already
I know it's
found
happened
that,
before, I know. But come on, how unlikely is
that's
that?
like the whole plot of the series finale is
Also, mules and high knees
two
exist.
species being able to
with
procreate.
only with medical help.
I don't know. I think it was.
Uh-oh.
And what if he shot her instead?
Well, he
Well,
won't
then I
shoot
guess-
her
well,
because
he
she's
won't,
the
yeah.
prize.
I suppose.
He needs
He
her
wants the
alive
bounty
for the
still.
ransom.
So instead of
Uh.
letting the blonde guy be a ginger, you let him be a pumpkin?
guy,
He's
is
just
he
not fighting
blonde?
back at all.
Bad scene.
Oof.
Why are you laughing? You're losing.
He's laughing
Okay,
because
maybe
it
you're
didn't
not
hurt,
losing.
'cause
Maybe you're fine.
He's
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah. Use crowbar on man.
You know, Soma, this kind of reminds me of Oblivion. With the way this guy is handling his fight. He's just... He's
is
making
very-
really stupid tactical decisions and he's going, ha ha! And that's just
Of
how
course it
Oblivion
does.
works.
He almost drowned Trip right there. Like, that was a pretty dangerous
They should
situation.
drown him. They should
No.
put him face down in the water.
He's a great character.
It didn't even look
mean-
like a stunt double. They just almost drowned Connor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's only like 4 inches deep. Come on.
Yeah, whatever.
It's on a soundstage.
It would still be very unpleasant.
It's dangerous.
He's still getting like water in his mouth and his nose and his eyes.
To Paul.
Enterprise.
This isn't what it looks like.
What
are they
happened? There were
looking at?
extenuating circumstances.
Why were they looking in the water?
For the gun.
Okay.
So how does that airlock work? When you get in there, like you have to flip 90 degrees?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, the ship is vertical like that.
But when you're moving from Enterprise
Because
to
when
the
it moves
alien
away,
ship,
it reorients itself for some reason because space is, not just space.
Okay. I didn't see that thing.
She looks like
see it.
Picard's
Yes,
So-
Paramore.
part-time girlfriend in that
The
outfit.
metamorph.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The metamorph also had
Are
the
you talking-
spots, and that's where they got the idea for the
Kamala.
trill.
Kamala.
She has the
Kamala
same
Harris?
makeup as Femke.
Kamala.
That lady. Kamala.
She's giving you an invitation to come hang out at the palace, dude. Like, I would be like, yes, I would like to resign my commission.
Yes,
I am going to
right away.
become a royal
I'm
concubine
gonna become.
of a princess.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's, I
Just
mean, like,
because
that sounds like the way to go.
Robo, just because an attractive person offered that, you think he's gonna leave his career to go be someone's house husband?
Dude, if a princess came and said, "Hey, you want to come live at the palace and never work again and just, you know,
He
make
loves
love
his
to an
work.
extremely beautiful
Yeah, he loves
woman,"
his work. It's
I
also
would leave.
essential.
All right, but Robo, what if the princess said you have to leave your 3D printer behind? You wouldn't take it, right?
There's probably a better 3D printer in
No.
the palace.
No 3D printers at the palace. You just have to sit in the hair.
I'm. You know what? That's okay.
It's a deal breaker, right? No.
No, I don't care. I'm not that attached to my 3D printer.
No, but you're such a
Robo,
gadget guy.
just because a man is attractive doesn't mean he has to be a house husband. He's allowed to have a working career.
Look, I'm just saying, if that proposition was put forth to me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I don't have to work anymore. I'm out. See ya.
Robo wants just to be a rich
1
woman's pool.
minute to the final episode for today, the Catwalk.
Yes.
Look, we all work not because we want to, but because we have to. If you had the
Well,
option
work can be fun as well.
of, it can be, but it's not always.
Like, but if you
I
Really
didn't
more
want to do
rewarding
this
than
stream
not.
today, but I'm obligated to. So I'm here.
no,
Look.
you do it for love.
She made a very compelling argument, and you know,
Meh.
I think you
I
just
She
wouldn't.
just said, "Stay
Wow.
with me." That's it. She didn't make an argument. She just said, "Come stay with me."
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but she didn't say like for a week. She just said stay with me, and
Mhm,
that
mhm.
implies forever.
Meh. But yeah, I wouldn't leave my job for her.
Yeah, that's the thing.
5,
And also,
4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Look,
it kind of look.
we all
it
know
works
we
out
all know how
better-
Charles' career ends. Okay, come on.
But look,
And besides, like, staying with her, I mean, maybe it would be fun for a trip for a week, but he's gonna get sick of her hoity-toity attitude real quick.
right?
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't even let him ask questions. She just
Threatened to
began
have
listen.
him executed.
They sold
The
this
top
prop
part of the
recently
shuttlepod
for
is both a clamp and a whatever it is, airlock type thing.
Banner Day. Relish Tagrim. He doesn't look familiar. I think he's a new person.
They mentioned Catwalk before, and I was like, "What is the Catwalk?" Because I thought it was like a nebulous region. Because like I think it's the Klingon ship episode when they pull it out of the gas giant. But now I realize the Catwalk is the region of the nacelles where you just go on for like a mile.
Warp
Uh-oh.
7, you
No.
say?
Because you know models on the runway call it a catwalk, right? Is that why it's called catwalk?
Well, I mean, catwalk is also
So,
a term used in
The
real life
Universal
for, like,
Translator did all the
pathways.
conversions in an instant of what that warp speed actually means somehow.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, the computers linked up and they got their measurement systems synchronized, and so they just translated it.
Yeah, a catwalk, like that brewery from Star Trek 2009 that works
Right.
as the engineering section. All those pathways are catwalks.
Where the turbo lifting runs through.
Now, the weirdest part about the Universal Translator, though yes, it's suspension of disbelief, is that it not only translates the audio, but it makes the mouth look different.
Right.
But it works very well.
Yes.
Right, and by the way, the other thing is though, translation is such a difficult thing. Like, how do I accurately express my thoughts to you?
We do
So-
actually have real-time translation
Yeah, and they're
algorithms now.
terrible because it's very easy to confuse two different concepts. And how is a machine gonna know what a person means?
You know, in this intro sequence, we get a shot of the mining facility on the moon. And that, with knowledge of season 4, that's slightly more menacing. It's always been there, looming in the background, waiting for its time to strike.
True. Sorry, is Ryan, when you said catwalk on the thing, you meant the chutes in which like they were having the crew member travel or something?
No, I'm above it. There's pathways for people to walk.
Yeah. The railings. I don't really sit around and watch 2009. It's you know
A
those,
catwalk is a raised pathway for people to walk on above something else.
Thank you.
Catwalk.
All right, you know, because I just I used to Vogue magazine. You know, I used to do photo shoots for them, so that's the only context in which I know.
So Archer
Intake
just said
here.
83 people, which suggests that nobody has died yet.
Yep.
Or
It's
a
an
couple of
intake here.
people.
It's made of some kind of osmium.
Yeah.
No, I think I like my version more of this scene. Where Tucker is very amused. Okay, but how many microns is it? He asked for the depth, not the density.
But you know, the funny thing is also you will never see the TNG crew huddling in the warp nacelles. I don't understand how this episode became Star Trek.
It's problem solving. It's just not something we've seen in other series. They have shields in other series that would just deal with this problem.
Or
That
they
being
can
said,
just
they
go
do
to
end up
warp 7
with worse things
and just leave.
Yes. That being said, they do end up with worse problems, which
Wait,
go through the
they
shields.
can't go to warp 7. They're only warp 5.
But future
Yeah, we're
ships,
talking about
they don't have to
future.
deal with this because they can just leave.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just go somewhere else.
But also we never see this in TNG either, right? Well, we do actually when that guy gets lost in the transporter in TNG, or no, he doesn't get lost; he dies.
So this is each of the warp coils, presumably.
Surely they have 2 catwalks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they have 2 nacelles.
Yeah. It's a cool set.
They only use once, really.
I'm reading this post. My neighbor told me coyotes keep eating his outdoor cats, so I asked how many cats he has, and he said he just goes to the shelter and gets a new cat afterwards. So I said it sounds like he's just feeding their shelter cats to the coyotes. His daughter started crying. Oh.
Okay. But coyote?
Coyote.
Not coyote?
Coyote.
Coyote.
It's a coyote. And yes, please do not leave the coyotes will eat your dogs and your cats. So don't let your pets outside if you live in an area with coyotes.
Nah, no coyotes here. It's chill. You can let the dogs out. I mean, there's mountain lions, but those are fine. And bears. But they're chill.
This guy is a bad guy, frequently in Star Trek, right?
He doesn't look familiar to me. I mean, I recognize him from this episode, but...
I thought I saw him in DS9. This third guy in the background.
Maybe? Enterprise, the Catwalk, IMDb. Let's find out. Who are these people? This is Scott Burkholder, Zach Grenier, and Aaron Lustig.
Oh, Truman is that Truman Cutler? She looks similar. They just
I
looked
think
at
Truman
like...
Cutler's dead.
Yeah, that's also as well. But she looked very similar. So you might have just got someone who looks similar to her to pretend to be her for a second.
Okay, so one of these aliens plays a doctor in Voyager, and one of them plays someone named Hilliard
With
in
a
Deep
similar
Space
hair.
Nine.
Yeah. That's what I was remembering.
I don't know who Hilliard is, but maybe I can find his page. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hilliard is the guy who Dr. Bashir calls to try and get the cure for Odo's disease. And he grills Bashir and is like, all right, good to know
what do
all
you
the
need
answers. No, you're denied. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for answering all my questions. You're still denied. He was like the complete functionary bureaucrat.
Catwalk, can't you just have like a bottle of aspirin or something? Why do you have to have all the zoo?
You know, up to this point, he always seemed like the animals he kept were just things to him, you know, like tools to be used. And now he seems actually emotionally attached. So, which one is it?
I don't think he kills any of his animals, though, does he? He
No,
just
he
harvests bits
does
of
what's
them.
Yeah.
necessary.
He kills the one to save Trip. He kills the one to save Porthos.
Sorry, Ryan. Could you post who was the other guy in Voyager?
He was unnamed doctor in the episode Ex Post Facto.
Thanks.
And the actor's name was...
Get moving, aren't you?
The actor's name was Aaron Lustig. Lustig. Which is German for happy. Or fun, more, but whatever. Same thing.
Yeah.
I think later.
That's a nice looking cloud. I like that. Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Why can't Enterprise just like fly vertically for 2 seconds? The cloud's pretty. It's pretty thin.
At the edge. Yeah.
Just go up. What's the problem?
Up and around.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still
as
just really
thick as
far
it is
away, and
wide.
it only looks like it's thin. But it's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
like
it's
2
like a
light years
tornado.
across.
Yeah. Also, like, it's true. If they probably sit still, it'll probably move out of the way.
Or slowly fly toward it, so you're out of it a little faster.
True.
Yeah, I think Crewman Cutler's gone, unfortunately. I like
She died in
Crewman
her
Cutler.
life.
Yeah.
She had some type of
Could
weird
just have been similar
aneurysm
hair.
or something.
I thought she was in a
Similar.
car crash.
No, they found her dead in her house. She just had some weird brain thing. It was really unexpected.
When I was a
Yeah,
kid,
aneurysms are fun. You can suddenly just die with no warning at a young
No-
age. And
Yeah.
You can
you're just
use
done.
aneurysm as a cover for why you're not around to help Julian out of some ethical dilemma with espionage
Okay,
and
yes.
assassination.
yes. But that's the thing. You can
And
strike
then
without warning at
miraculously
any time.
recover.
Yep.
And it's a very scary thing, actually. Please, like, if you have a headache and you don't get headaches, you have to go see a doctor. You
Using
don't have
fiber optic cables.
if you have like the worst headache of your life.
She died from undiagnosed cardiac arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat, at her home in Los Angeles, California. Reports that she was buried at Riverside Cemetery in Ohio are false.
Why do we care where she was buried? Why is that reported?
I don't know. That was on Memory Alpha.
But why does Memory Alpha even trying to get that information? Leave her alone. Were they
she
planning to
would
visit?
be
Porthos!
she'd be
Come on,
54
you could at
years
least
old.
put a cushion on it. Come on, it's not even a smooth top.
Oh, she was in that episode of Voyager where B'Elanna had to write a play.
They didn't even want to let
Got
Porthos.
that.
They could have let
She was
Porthos
one of
run
the-
the ship.
I've
She
only
was the
seen that episode
actress.
once. I barely remember it.
She was the actress in the play who played Moana.
Okay. When is that episode? When are we gonna?
They absolutely don't have
season?
83 people, but hey ho.
That is season 6, episode 22. So not for a
Wow,
while.
that's a yeah. I thought it was gonna be
That
like
was with
season
the
2.
Delta Flyer, right? She's in the Delta Flyer, I think.
It just sounds like an early season episode.
The Delta Flyer doesn't make sense. It's
Oh,
too
they are
big
gonna
for the
fly
shuttle
into it to get out
bay.
of it a little bit quicker. Nice.
Hmm.
Get to the other side. God, they couldn't even get us to. Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I assume the other half of the crew is just in the other nacelle,
Yes.
so we
What if
don't see
this
them.
Came across the planet. Came across a planet, a habitable planet.
Could we hide on the other side of the planet? Would that help?
I don't know. I don't think so, because the planet's going to rotate
Porthos.
before it's past the planet. You know what I mean? If it takes this long to pass it, it's going warp 7. It's definitely going to be still there when the planet rotates around, right?
Well, I'm saying you like hover in place on the side of the planet that's
in the
facing
shadow,
away from the
in the
storm.
shadow of the planet.
Yeah.
But then
Physically
everything on the
hide
planet's
behind the
destroyed
planet.
anyways.
I don't think the planet gets destroyed. It's just a
Porthos.
cloud. It didn't destroy the Enterprise. Sorry, it didn't destroy Enterprise. It doesn't look like this cloud's even that big a deal.
Jeez, they're gonna sleep in these 8 days with all this bumping around.
Chef Goats' only on-screen appearance here.
But we only see like his hand.
Yeah, no, we see his like lower half below his torso.
God, I would if this were like on an Amazon watch party where I could control the playback, I would totally pause there and quiz you guys. Who was it? I didn't know the answer. But Solkar.
Nor did I.
Is she whitening her teeth?
I think that's just how you clean them in the future. Which, frankly, I'm very jealous. Because brushing and
They're
flossing
gonna
sucks.
smell. Yes.
Yes, we must electrocute our teeth now.
I would so much rather electrocute them with a little LED. That'd be way better.
What if you just had
Flossing is
a
the
like a
worst.
chewable tablet? You just
Hmm.
take it, chew it up, spit
You
it out.
swallow
You're done.
all your mouth gunk.
Or you could swallow it, I guess. Well, they for astronauts right now, they give them a toothpaste that they can swallow. It doesn't have fluoride,
Do you think?
so it's just a
Gum?
abrasive paste with some flavoring.
Do you think
it's
non-sugar
the
gum
same
is
thing with
effective
kids'
for tooth
toothpaste as
cleaning?
well.
It like picks up all the gunk and you just take it out.
Poker.
That's what Dentine says, or Trident, or whatever it is.
I mean, hypothetically, that should work. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't.
You know, I think it's because the guy Zach Grenier, he was in the X-Files and Law and Order and all that. So it's like,
Is
and
is
so many
that
other shows.
unnamed doctor or is that
No,
Hilliard?
his name is Renton here. So he's the one with he was the one in the middle. It's hard to describe. It's
Why is
neither
it-
of those two that you mentioned. So it's the other one,
Okay.
Why
It's
is
not
it
the
a
unnamed doctor.
universal?
and it's not their leader.
Why is it a universal
Sorry.
constant that enlisted people gamble with the desserts from their ration packs?
Because stereotypes
'Cause-
are always true.
That is the way.
We
It's
need
just
a
what they
scene
do.
of people gambling using ration packs, of course.
What else are they gonna gamble? Stuffing from their pillows. I like the lighting here. Look at that dramatic top lighting. It highlights Phlox's forehead, but not underneath, because, you know, he's got ridges and stuff. It's very dramatic. Yeah, they don't have cigarettes. They don't have money,
just-
I think.
You can chew some ginger root if you had motion sickness. It helps.
You mean Leola root?
Ginger root.
But Leola is ginger.
Got anything to take the edge off, Flocks?
Leola.
Got like I was thinking more like opioids.
Leola extract. Essence
So
of Leola
there is a
root.
significant. Well, it says 1 continent, but there is a significance to that 12 billion number. I'm fairly sure it's the number that estimated is the max number of population on Earth.
Yeah, 10.
Oh,
And we're
look at
rapidly
Captain Archer's
approaching.
bed over there. He has 2 pillows because he's the captain.
The idea is though the population levels off after it stabilizes.
He's
Yeah.
the most important component of the ship.
And the most
Mayweather?
the most important portion of the captain is the head. So you keep it nice and
I
comfy.
mean, we tried the plague and it's hardly made a dent in our population. Maybe we need something a little more drastic.
It made a dent. It made a big dent.
I don't think
Not
so.
in the total population.
Also, we had a
Oh.
war that killed 50 million people in 1930 something.
It's fine.
and
We might
also-
get another. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, well, it's been a
Get
while.
some headphones or something, Archer.
Okay, but you can't say we haven't made a dent. There's been plenty of dents
Oh.
made in the population.
COVID. No, and it's not slowed us down really.
The only thing is we get better at stopping the dents. So we've cured malaria, we've cured polio,
Global.
we've cured a lot of things. that
Maybe
used
we'll
to-
get a more sizable
we've
dent
cured
with
them in
Russia.
quotation marks. They still exist. We have to make sure that we keep up with the vaccinations on this.
Yeah. And
All right,
make sure
so we
polio
had-
samples don't
hold on.
escape out of the CDC or Russian labs that they're in, military labs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it doesn't leak, okay? Please.
So we've had 5.5 million deaths from COVID globally in the last
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
We've had 140
That sounds like
million
less than
births.
1% of the pop.
We have had 140 million births. So 540. No, we haven't really slowed it down, have we?
Okay, I agree with you, but again, my point though was that
There are
regardless of-
plenty of other deaths caused as a result,
Yeah.
and also that just adds to the number of
Right.
deaths per year.
and
So
the
you have to
thing is,
take
though,
into account everything.
aside from the dents, it's more like we've gotten better at avoiding, polio and smallpox deaths, which is a huge accomplishment, and malaria.
Does DePaul have 2 pillows? Or is it just Archer?
But also, by the way, heart disease, obesity, those are killing people in skyrocketing numbers. Metabolic syndrome, like fatty liver disease and kidney failure, like we're actually getting pretty bad in terms of managing the health effects of a prosperous society.
Hmm.
It's pretty deadly, actually. Car
Good,
accidents,
good.
alcoholism, drug abuse.
Good.
Anyway,
good.
how about that Star Trek?
Well, we solved this by the time Star Trek happened, so it's not a problem. There's no fat
There-
people on Star Trek.
There's post scarcity Earth. Yep. Well, if you have a machine that like makes all your food, and you order something, and it's like, well, they already had this many calories, so we're gonna make it have absolutely zero nutritional content. It's just like artificial flavoring and non-toxic foam. You'll lose weight, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Protein.
Is that why
synthesizer.
T'Pol is so thin?
Yeah.
She set her.
She just
set her
doesn't even eat
caloric
real
intake really
food?
low. Probably.
This is kind of sweet
Well,
though.
she
because,
ate a lemon and some asparagus before, so that's not exactly filling.
The Enterprise is doing this because there's 3 deserters, but their military is like evil, so they're keeping the deserters, and that's pretty heroic of Captain Archer. Because this is what actually made me think of Magellan back before when I said that. But it's like during the reason the War of 1812 broke out was because the British Navy was oppressing American sailors, and actually, so the British and French would do that to
Chef.
each other.
He doesn't look anything like William. Wait, not William Frakes. Jonathan Frakes. William Riker. Not even close to Johnny. Also, why not have movie night? You got anything else to do? You got places to be, Malcolm?
Would they have roast beef or pot roast? It's not bad.
Jesus Christ. You can't just... Yes, you should have. You can't just start fires in a warp nacelle. What's wrong with you?
Where do they even get the food to cook? The command
I guess they
area.
stuffed it in their pockets before they came over.
Yeah. This guy who said we've
Sure,
had
he
Looks
trouble.
like chicken. Are those chicken feet? Is that what that is?
It looked
It
like
looks
I think
gross.
it's chicken feet.
yeah, tenders.
Looks like feet.
I like how Trip gives it to Reed. But as I was saying, back in the days of seafaring, it was a really big problem when aside from pirates, the sailors of another navy would take over your ship and steal all the crewmen.
We had a war about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not happy about it.
No, then they burned our White House and Capitol.
Yeah, Soma, what was up with that? Why did you burn the White House?
Well,
You did it to yourself shortly thereafter.
They're still mad about the tea. They're
Yeah, I
still
think
mad
we
about
have
the tea.
I think we have to worry about the domestic threat to our capital now, not the
Well,
foreign.
I mean, also, you did do it shortly thereafter in real time, as opposed to not just today.
Oh, the Civil
Not
War.
just of
50
today.
years later. Yeah.
Well, if they didn't want the White House to be burned down, why did they make it out of a flammable material?
It's actually kind of good they burned it down because we needed another one, and now we got the executive mansion.
Do we need another one now? I mean, I don't think the White House has very good decor. It could probably use a revamp, an overhaul. Renovation, that's the word for when it's a building.
So, the entire capital is designed to repel violent mobs. I don't know if you knew that.
The entire
Yes.
capital
But it
is
was a
designed to
common-
repel good taste. It's ugly. The building
That
itself
too.
looks good, but the interior design is hideous.
I mean, the design of Washington D.C. itself.
Neoclassical architecture was all the rage back then.
I'm not talking about the architecture of the buildings. I'm talking about the layout of the actual.
Yeah, it's like Masonic
City.
Is that why they built it in a swamp?
imagery. Yeah, all that.
Good they remembered to bring some suits just in case they needed them. Very important.
Yes. They found they've got intruders on the Enterprise now.
My god, they're planting a bomb on the warp core. Make another trip to DC? Yeah, no, I never want to visit DC again. I went to DC
Did you go
once.
there because your Boy
Outrage.
Scout troop won the trip to D.C.?
Nope, I went there
selling
because
those
my family
popcorn?
wanted to go, so I went with my family. Because I was a
You know-
child and I had no say in the matter, and it sucked.
How did these people even get on the Enterprise?
It's not
They
the
went
most.
in through the door. It's not like anyone was there.
It's not the most fun city to visit, but there is the National Air and Space Museum where they have space and classic fighter
Okay,
airplanes.
here's my
painted
primary
together.
memory of DC, though. It's not of the museums, although we did go see. I saw a giant sloth, so that was cool. That wasn't my primary memory, though. My primary memory is that the reflection pool had been drained for some reason, and it just reeked of algae and death
Mm.
for like
watched
half
it
a mile
on-
radius. It was awful.
I saw the cherry blossoms bloom in spring. And the Korean War Memorial and the Vietnam War Memorial. But the other thing is, though, what I need to do next by visiting, the Smithsonian has 12 museums on one block in DC, and I need to visit like all those 12 museums because that's an amazing treasure. Star Trek TOS Enterprise model is in the Smithsonian Museum.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, we know where it is, we know how to get there,
We know
And
where it
we can
is because
take
we know
it.
where it isn't. And where it isn't is where it will be.
we need a version of National Treasure, except instead of the Declaration, which who cares, it's just a piece of paper we have copies of.
Yes.
Let's go get the Enterprise.
It's not paper, it's vellum. Thank you.
It
very
doesn't
much.
matter. It's
Parts of the
old, and we
difference.
now have PDFs now.
Yeah,
I'm
Enterprise.
pretty sure there's
model
also
is
not a
1.0.
secret map on the back. Or sorry, it wasn't a map, it was a cipher, wasn't it?
Yeah, by the same guy
So
who
this,
did the.
Which
this
is like a
species
word
can
map.
survive inside of this
Oh, this guy's a Nazi.
space.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Hirogen. Just
about
listen
the
to that
crew?
voice.
He was one of the clowns at the beginning of Dark Knight. He was grumpy.
Okay, he's always grumpy.
No,
like
they didn't use
he
a,
was
didn't use a start date there. He uses the actual date.
Yes. Yes, he does. God,
Oh, it's
Where's the
imagine
alarm
just like
guy?
imagine like this guy being your dad. Do you want to go to the soccer game today?
He's in the episode. He's in that episode of Deep Space Nine where
Yeah.
where Jake is a coward.
Yeah, and he's
Yep,
the
and he's dying.
Marine who
He's
dies.
the guy dying. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he's angry there, and he's a Hirogen, and he's angry there, and he's a Nazi, and he's angry there. Well, he's a Nazi Hirogen, but whatever. He's
Nazi
angry.
Hirogen.
Yeah,
Well,
opposite
there
Jeffrey
has to
Dean
be
Morgan.
Nazis somewhere.
Yeah, it's not a Star Trek show if it doesn't have Nazis.
The Next Generation is not a real Star Trek show. It doesn't have Nazis in it.
You know, it has World War III. It's like Nazis on steroids. Like, we have 600 million dead in a nuclear holocaust. We just amplified the other holocaust by 100 million, by 100 times.
600
However
million for a massive global
Hmm.
world war fought with nukes? That seems like a pretty low estimate, really.
Yeah, it's a lowball figure. Yeah.
I mean, if we had a proper world war with nuclear exchange and that's all that died, I'd count that
Yeah.
as a win.
Yeah, that is a win. That's true. It should be at least half the population wiped out if we're all nuking each other.
Hmm.
Because see, the first one to launch, now there has to be a retaliation. So that's it. It's all game. It's game now. Once it's done.
You know, hang on. Those phase rifles or whatever they're called, they don't have openings at the end. They're solid, and they have a little like bit sticking out.
Oh, this is the part where they tell us who they are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
reveal the
these
plot.
guys are deserters, but their commander was literally a Nazi several times, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So the premise was like, hey, you got to escape the storm. Let us in. And it's like, oh, we're fugitives from our navy, but we're not because we're good fugitives.
On an unrelated note, DC also sucked because I had tiny little
Hmm.
legs, and my family didn't know how to estimate distance. So we walked everywhere across the entire city, and it took like several hours with my tiny little legs.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Let's go see one monument on this side of the city, and oh, we can see the Washington Monument from here. Let's go walk over there. No, let's not. It's really far away. It's just big.
Yeah, it is a really spaced out city, and
However,
you don't realize it.
there's one part of going that I'm glad I did, which is when I play Fallout 3, I recognize primarily the big train station, but several bits.
Union Station.
Yeah, Union Station. It's like, oh wait, I've been here.
Mhm.
At the bottom level, there's a bunch of little shops that sell massively overpriced food.
Yeah, and they do have pretty subways. I will say, like, I'm being from New York. We invented subways, but it's nice to be in a hollow tube that's actually shaped like a hollow tube.
What else would it be shaped like? What does that mean?
Well, so New York's tunnel system, there is like 4 tracks, 2 going each way, express and local, and most other cities only have 1 going each way. But so therefore, ours looks like an underground bunker, and DC's looks like a really nice scalloped architecture. Moscow's is also the most beautiful in the world.
Were there Mirelurks in Union Station? I remember super mutants there. I don't remember Mirelurk, but I probably didn't explore it that thoroughly. Also, why does this guy look so evil? Part of it's the hair, part of it's what looks like scars around his eyes. I think he also has eyeshadow. He just looks evil.
Also, he played someone evil in another episode. In Voyager, oh, I think that was never mind. The ex post facto. But another thing Enterprise kind of does is that there's something called the law of the sea. If someone's in distress, you have to help. But obviously, who's gonna enforce it, right? So Enterprise is always doing that, and it kind of backfires on them a few times. This being one of them.
Yeah, Starfleet does obey that principle, often to their own detriment.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Well, The Expanse
Hi.
is predicated on the idea that you shouldn't.
Hey, Moon.
It's always a trap.
How's Archer doing? Is he doing the breast he can?
The breast he can.
No, not this episode.
Oh, no.
We're on the catwalk doing.
I don't know if that was intentional or was it a Freudian slip.
No,
That
it was
obviously
intentional. But that's his line. That's what he says. He's champing at the bit. He's doing the best he can.
I don't think he's sorry at all. I think he's lying to us.
Is this one where they hide in the warp
Dave.
themselves?
Yes.
Yes, it's called the catwalk.
And then
This
the
is
Nazi
actually a
comes
good
and tries to
episode.
take over the ship.
Of Enterprise. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that. Enterprise has many, many, many good episodes. It's a good show.
Incorrect.
It's the 3rd best Star Trek show.
That is a very hot take.
I don't think it's a hot take. My hot take is that TOS is the worst Star Trek show.
That's also a very hot take. Worse than TAS?
There's
I've
no
never
such
seen
thing
I've never seen
as a
TAS.
bad
I
Star Trek.
assume
TAS
it's
is, like,
about the same.
Worse. In every way.
Okay.
It's
Do we
like
just-
imagine
is this like-
TOS but with no budget.
So like
You know,
TOS?
TOS
when
can
I-
do high budget. Like, that's a misconception.
It doesn't look like it in the original version.
When I was 14 years old, I would troll in AOL chat rooms in Star Wars forums because I was such a huge Star Trek fan. I would say Star Wars sucks, and then I didn't watch Babylon 5 at the time, even though I love it now. I go Babylon 5 sucks. So I think like I outgrew that trolling period. So Moon, like you just came in here and started saying Enterprise has actually a good episode. We love Enterprise here.
I think Discovery is better than TOS.
See,
Terrible.
wow. Can we not diss Star Trek on the watch along? I understand it's your show, Ryan, but I'm asking you just as a person.
I didn't say TOS was bad. I said it's the worst Star Trek show.
How is
However,
it- It's not even remotely. The moral lessons and it gave us the fictional foundation for all this. So I would never ever put it below.
historically significant to the Star Trek, perhaps.
Yeah.
But also, rampant with sexism and really questionable decision making. And I don't remember any racism. Was there racism in TOS? Like accidental, they were racist bits?
There's
Not
quite
really.
a few racist
Probably,
moments
yeah.
in TOS.
I don't remember it too well. I guess we'll get to
Well,
it eventually.
They established space racism as a trope. So you can say like, oh, all Vulcans are just mean goblins. and that's okay.
Spock makes a few, let's say, unpleasant comments.
Okay.
So
I
instead of
remember
using the self-destruct
Lincoln is
device,
questionable.
he's
It's always Spock
destroying
with
them
the worst
into a
takes.
eddy.
Well, if someone says something absolutely horrible in the original series, there's like a 90% chance it's Spock.
McCoy's pretty bad.
Yeah, his racism is fake. He only hates on Vulcans. Vulcans aren't even
Okay.
real. It's fake racism.
Like, it's really cool to have a Russian helmsman in a period of Cold War when like we hated the Russians.
He sure is a Beatles man. He sure is there. He sometimes says things.
Who does? Who says things?
Chekhov.
Chekhov
Oh
has
yeah,
the Beatles
Chekhov.
haircut.
Yeah, he definitely is there for sure.
He has a very bad wig.
Sometimes.
Shields up, Captain.
He's
Meanwhile, the
just
whole
there
ship
to
is
tell you which things were invented in Leningrad. Even though Leningrad doesn't exist anymore, but whatever.
It does in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, they renamed it again.
The Star Trek universe completely diverges, like in 1996 or so, probably before then. Because, like, you know,
It
the whole
diverges
eugenics
in
war thing.
1968.
Like the Soviet Union canonically still exists in TNG.
Yeah, 91.
Like, there's a ship that was built in it. Like, it says so on the
Yeah.
dedication plate.
Well, I mean, that might still work because Putin is currently trying to rebuild the USSR. Maybe it comes
he's
back.
not.
Maybe we get Soviet Union too.
If he does,
Soviet
I
Boogaloo.
will eat my hat and I'll be
Well-
very happy, but he's not.
I bet you don't even
Well, no,
have a
Ukraine
hat.
is about to be invaded again, so there's nothing to be happy about. But yeah, we're gonna
Well,
have the
that's not how
USSR
you
again
make the
pretty soon.
Soviet Union.
Mhm.
Soviet
Did
Union
you
is
just say
not
you
when
would
you
be-
invade Ukraine.
Did you just say you would be happy to see the Soviet Union come back?
Of course.
Why would you be
Why?
happy for the Soviet Union?
Moon
Why
and I
wouldn't you?
are leftists,
Because
so
they are
but
very
Well,
much
the
the
Soviet
bad guys.
Union was.
yeah, we don't want
Uh,
gulags or like
They executed
bad.
like what 30+ million of their own people. You know, there was rampant corruption.
Yes.
Yeah.
90 billion iPhone Venezuela. Tiananmen
I
Square
don't think
Cube.
the USSR had iPhones. That doesn't sound
Okay,
right.
well, either way, we will form a united world government shortly after this episode, and we'll overcome the silly tensions between capitalism and communism, and we'll all unite and be one happy family.
But yeah, if Putin actually does recreate the Soviet Union somehow, I'll be
Okay.
amazed.
Putin
Wow.
is using he presides over a crony state where they use capitalism and religion to bamboozle the people. So I don't see anything leftist going on there.
Clear in a few minutes. Okay,
I don't think.
we're done with the storm.
I don't think that Ryan
I
meant
should go
Soviet
have work
Union in economic
I
sense.
still hear you, Robin.
Soviet Union as a expansive power.
Soviet Union was bad, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, look, did you know? Like, I know everyone I know
The
from
space
the
storm
former
is
Soviet
over.
bloc, pretty educated. Like they had classical music on the radio. We have like Britney Spears and nonsense. So like they were computer programmers and scientists and nuclear engineers coming out of that society. The Soviet Union trained 1 million doctors in less than 5 years. So the fact is, if you really want to pour resources into improving your own people, you can do it, and they proved it. Obviously, they lost the arms race and poured money into that. And also, like you said, Stalin killed a lot of people, and that's not good. But
aside from the genocide and the tyranny,
Stalin,
they got some work
Stalin
done.
and
Yeah, they had
the
good music
Bolsheviks
and good culture.
and everybody
good-
after Stalin.
they had good culture. But yeah, they lost the
Fine.
arms
Apart from the
race.
genocide.
That's
Building-
objective. That's
Building
totally
30,000 nuclear
objective.
weapons. No, but what I'm saying is though, look,
Or subjective. Sorry.
no, they had a model that was built upon giving every family a home, every child a school, and they were remarkably
And there was like a
successful.
17-year waiting period for a car.
Okay, but I agree.
Okay,
but
I'm
what
gonna go ahead and cut off the pro-Soviet thing here and just go ahead and end the stream because I got stuff to do that doesn't involve anything Russian, Soviet or otherwise.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Chad.
No Russians involved. I don't even know any Russians.
How do you say that?
I noticed that you're rushing out of
fine.
this conversation.
I am. I'm rushing very much out of this conversation. Tomorrow is Death Wish, where Q2 wants to die. He wants to kill himself. Life Science, which I have no idea. And Investigations, which I have no idea, but it's got to be a Tuvok episode. Voyager tomorrow. There's the Suicidal Q, and there's at least one Tuvok episode.
See you tomorrow.
We're done here.
Yeah.
See you.